Stalin's first position after the revolution was People's Commissar for Nationalities. In that capacity, he signed, together with Lenin, Declaration of the Rights of Peoples of Russia. In that capacity, he also negotiated with Ukraine the conditions on which Ukraine was to join the Russian Federation. From November 1917, Stalin became a member of the Politburo, together with Lenin, Trotsky, and Sverdlov. Together with Lenin, Stalin signed the ban on the newspapers from the Bolshevik list. And of course, Stalin was at the front of the Civil War. From 1918 until 1922, he was particularly prominent in three directions: 1918 in Tsaritsyn, 1919 in defense of Petrograd, and 1919 on the Southwestern Front. Stalin's role was over-exaggerated enormously during the existence of the Soviet Union. But he did play a certain role, particularly in Tsaritsyn. Here is the picture showing him directing the troops in the area of Tsaritsyn. He is together with Kliment Voroshilov, who was to become his closest ally and associate. This is the real picture of Stalin in Tsaritsyn. He was actually sent there not to participate in battle. He was sent in 1918 to collect grain, for grain requisitions. But his powers were unlimited. He could give orders both to civil and military authorities. So Stalin found himself in the situation in July-August 1918, when Tsaritsyn was in the danger of falling to the Whites. So Stalin, of course, he organized the defense of the city, that is true. But one of his major measures to quell any danger of uprising or betrayal was, again, terror. What happened was that he ordered the arrests of those who were suspect, including military specialists, former officers of the Russian army, who worked for the Reds and who were rendering quite valuable services to the Red Army. And they were not just arrested, they were tortured, and they were humiliated, and finally many of them were executed. This was quite well known in the Bolshevik circles, and Stalin did not try to conceal it. When Lenin was wounded in an assassination attempt on 30th August 1918, Stalin wrote to him, he sent a telegram, "Open mass and systemic terror against bourgeoisie and its agents." That's what he promised. It was after this event that the Red Terror was introduced as an official policy. This is how some streets in the cities looked. And this is Cheka officers with a torture victim. The Civil War also brought to the surface the hostility between Trotsky and Stalin. At the 8th Party Congress, Lenin rebuked Stalin very mildly for his excesses in Tsaritsyn. But only Trotsky demanded Stalin's recall. Military specialists were Trotsky's main brainchild. He attracted them to the Red Army because he knew perfectly well that without military expertise, the Red Army would never win the Civil War. Stalin was not only skeptical about the military specialists, but he scorned their services. In 1919, Stalin married for the second time. This is his wife, Nadezhda Alliluyeva, and Stalin together with her. He was 41 when he married for the second time. Alliluyeva was daughter of a family, Russian family, whom Stalin knew from the time in Tbilisi. They had two children. Vasily was born in 1921 and Svetlana was born in 1926. At about that time, Stalin defended Petrograd. He again tried to get rid of the military specialists, and he really tried whatever he could to undermine their services in the eyes of the leadership of the party. One of Stalin's most prominent actions during the Civil War was his participation in the command of the Southwestern Front. I usually try to find the maps which are much less complicated, but I did not manage with this particular one. What you can see here is that the lower part of it is Southwestern Front. The top part of it is the Western Front. The task of the Western Front was to advance into Poland and to seize Warsaw. The task of the Southwestern Front was to advance into Ukraine and to seize Lvov. Both advances developed very successfully at first, and Stalin wrote to Moscow that it is time to organize insurrections in Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and Italy because Poland is going to fall in a few days. But what happened was that the Poles actually counterattacked, and the Western Front started to retreat. The central military leadership demanded that the 1st Cavalry Army, which was accompanying Southwestern Front, should move to the Western Front and help it. But there was a delay. Either Stalin specifically tried to delay the advance of the 1st Cavalry Army, or it just happened that it was bogged down in battle, but it did not arrive in time, and the Western Front lost Poland. Stalin attempted to shift the blame on Trotsky, who was the head of the Red Army and who was the head of the Revolutionary Military Council. In this case, Lenin supported Trotsky. He wanted to keep the balance of power, and Stalin was sent to Caucasus and Central Asia to manage some conflicts there, but in a few months he returned.